Welcome back to the Struggle and Strive podcast. I got a special treat for you today. We are here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're here to interview Ryan Pineda. He has got an inspiring and God-centered story. He starts from very humble beginnings, flipping couches, eventually flips houses, and has built a real estate empire. You are gonna love today's interview. I want to ask you about where you grew up. Where'd you grow up? Did you grow up here?
Yeah, born and raised in Vegas.
How do you like living in Vegas?
I'm still here. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's your hometown, so you know
Yeah.
people. Went to high school here.
Yeah.
All your business contacts, or most of your business contacts, I'm sure it's expanded now. How's raising kids here?
It's funny. I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up, going to church every Sunday. And so, definitely I saw a lot of kids get into trouble, but
Sure.
I was never really one of those kids just because I think I was always like grounded in faith. And, I got raised by parents who loved me, who, they didn't drink, they didn't smoke. None of this stuff was ever in my life. And so I think my environment was like as good as it could be, to grow up right. And I kind of just believe that with my kids now. It's like, my kids are going to be just fine. Yeah, we're in Sin City and, there's all this stuff out there, but like, I'm just a firm believer. Like, I'm going to do more for their environment than any city.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree with that more. You guys go to the Strip ever?
Oh yeah.
Go to dinner and stuff?
Yeah. I don't gamble, but, and not to say, I do gamble on the golf course, but, I don't, I used to play craps and blackjack and all these things when I was younger, like when I turned 21,
Yeah.
22, but,
Is that a big thing here? When you turn 21, like,
Oh,
you gotta
yeah.
go to the Strip?
yeah, dude,
Hang out.
you do all that stuff and you go see what the clubs are all about and you like see, and you're just like, all right, that lasted like a year. And I was like, this is whatever.
I got it.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to grow up in a faith-based household. Two parents, they're still married?
Yep.
That's amazing. So that's done wonders probably for you. Do you have siblings?
One sister. Yep.
Probably done wonders for both of you, your confidence, your place in the world, all that. Were they entrepreneurial? Are they entrepreneurial?
Yeah. Yep. So, what's interesting is like looking back in hindsight, I'm like, oh, okay, it's obvious why I became an entrepreneur. But growing up, all I did was play baseball,
Right.
So I was a professional baseball player and I was never like entrepreneurial. I was an athlete.
Yeah.
And I only became entrepreneurial out of necessity, like working in the off season. I couldn't like get a job because I would go leave 6 months out of the year and I would be training throughout the day. And so I had to figure out how to like make money on my own time.
And you found some traction flipping couches. Can you tell me, how does that happen? How do you find a couch and you're like, dude, I know somebody that will buy this couch?
I mean, most of the things that have happened in my life, I did not want to do. And, obviously like looking back in hindsight, it's a God thing. Like I was saying with my parents, my mom was a realtor for 40 years. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm in real estate. That's probably not a coincidence, even though growing up, I never cared
Yeah.
to be in real estate. And then, you look at your dad, my dad owned convenience stores and he lost them all. So my mom and dad lost everything in 2008. So I watched actually like the negative side of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
They lost everything they built. Our childhood home got foreclosed on. I was off in college and just kind of shielded from it for a little bit because I was busy just playing baseball, going to school, but like they lost everything.
Wow.
And, for me going into this entrepreneurial world, I got married young because I wanted to do things the right way. And
How old were you?
my wife had just turned 21. I had just turned like 24.
Oh, that's great though.
Yeah. And, so we got married young with no money and I'm like, how do I provide? And that was where like my first entrepreneurial success came about. I had furnished our apartment with Craigslist furniture because it was all I had.
That's what you do.
Yeah. And I furnished it for like $1,000. And I remember they're just sitting there looking at it like, what am I going to do to like make money? And I sat there looking at the furniture. I was like, man, I got such good deals on these. Like, I bet you I could flip them and make money. And then it just clicked. I'm like, why not?
Did you literally post the furniture you just bought back on Craigslist?
No. So what I did was, because we needed furniture. So I was like, I was like,
where's the couch?
yeah, I'm going to test a theory. Well, it was pretty much that. I ended up buying another couch and my wife's like, why do we have another couch? And I'm like, I think I'm going to make money doing this. She's like, remember, we're newly married.
Yeah.
And she's like, what did I just walk into? And, I ended up flipping that couch for $200 pretty quickly. And I was like,
How much you pay for the couch?
that one was like $50, sold it for like $250. And immediately, once I saw that it could work, I ended up buying a truck for like $1,500. I rented a storage unit for like $100, and I was off to the races.
That's so rad. And I would add how critical it is to have a wife, a partner in this that understands and can tolerate that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Has she always been a supporter?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even now it's interesting because she's obviously like been with me through all of this stuff now. I mean, she was with me when I was playing baseball, flipping couches, flipping houses, the social media stuff, the events, like everything we do today. She's seen it from the jump.
Yeah.
And by the way, when we got married, none of this was like expected.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, babe, I have all these dreams to like be on social media and throw big, like, no, she's like, I'm marrying this baseball player and we're probably going to live a life in baseball. And then that fails. And now it's like, what do we do? And so for her, she always had faith, because we're both strong believers, that God was going to provide one way or the other.
That's beautiful.
Even if it wasn't baseball, we were going to be okay. So like, even though we didn't have money the first few years, we never starved. We never stressed. It was like, yeah, we make like nothing and it's all good. And so, I think in each step of the way, we've just now had 12 years of marriage in hindsight to say God provided every step of the way through every single problem. He found a way when I didn't see a way, right? And, even now, if I want to start a new business or something, she's like, all right, cool. If we're going through a tough time financially, she's like, we'll be fine. If, I'm going through a lawsuit or a big thing or haters or whatever, she's like, whatever. Like, none of it phases her. And I guess for me, I've never really even appreciated that, because I know that for a lot of women, that wouldn't be the case.
I've had friends that have been divorced over it.
Yeah.
Because it is, what you just described, I think, is something that people, particularly when they're out, on the internet scrolling around, looking at success porn and all this stuff, they don't always see that, or they don't appreciate what you just described. Because it is fraught with ups and downs financially, with risk, lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm right about this, but I heard the average millionaire sued 7 times in their career.
I thought that was per year.
I have a quick question circling back on faith. Raised in church, you've always had some relationship with God. When was it your own?
It's interesting because I don't have like a crazy salvation story like, a lot of people do. Growing up, I just truly always believed. And so if I was to really guess, I think I was believing really young, like
So rad.
before 10 years old. I made it official when I was 18 and I got baptized before I, went to college. But I mean, I was a strong believer well before. I just, for whatever reason, my parents never really like, I'm a lot more intentional with my kids than even my parents are with me. Like, I think my parents obviously like taught me that, the basics of faith, but they never pushed me to do anything faith-based. Like I was always like, I'm going to go to youth group. They're like, great.
Cool.
I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go to that. And they're like, great. I'm like, I think I need to get baptized. They're like, great. Like, it was never like, Ryan, the next step is get baptized and all this stuff. So, just growing up that way has made a big impact. But I will say my faith has drastically changed the last couple of years. I grew up in a very conservative Baptist environment, and now I'm much more charismatic and Pentecostal. And that was a whole shift that my wife and I had never experienced growing up. And so that's definitely changed a lot of how I believe and what I do and everything else.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, you're very visible in public now. So you're flipping couches. You flip other things?
Oh, dude, I flipped
TVs
everything.
and stuff?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I flipped appliances, TVs. Dude, I installed probably 100 washers and dryers.
So rad.
I don't ever talk about those because those were the failures. I'd have to like go back and they're like, dude, this washer doesn't work. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe you're like, and so I had to hire like a washer guy to come fix things. And like, picking up a washer by yourself is like incredibly hard, but everything was by myself.
Yeah.
And so I had a dolly and, all this stuff. But eventually I realized couches were the easiest. And so I stopped doing fridges.
They don't plug into anything.
They can't get, they're not broke. Like it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. When did you realize this hustle thing can like be my job? Like I can do this. I can start to pursue this as a thing.
With the couches?
With the couches and whatever else was next, whatever else was on deck.
So what happened was I was still only focused on baseball. The couches was like paying the bills. I'm like, this
was ancillary. You weren't really like, hey, this is great.
But it did grow so fast that I couldn't believe how much money I was making. I mean, to put things in perspective, playing baseball, I would make $1,200 a month.
I can hardly wrap my head around that.
Yeah. And I don't know how it was legal. We actually, funny enough, I got a settlement.
I'm sorry, what year are we talking about?
This was 2010 to 2017.
Gosh, that seems like last week in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that long ago. It was legal to pay people $1,200 a month and require them to be there from 12 to 10.
That's insane.
And then be on the road. And then you don't get paid in the off season either, but you're under contract. And so like, it's this thing. So anyways, yeah, I got a settlement the other day for like, I don't even remember. It was like $6 or $10 grand because apparently some players want to set. It's like, you can't pay $3 an hour illegally. And then it finally got changed. So now I think minor leaguers at a minimum make like $4 grand a month, which they probably think is not a lot of money, but I'm like, guys, you guys are killing it. So anyways, I didn't care about business, wasn't my thing. And the couch flipping thing just took off. It went from the one couch to making like $2,000 the next month to making $4,000 to eventually I was making $8 grand a month. And I was like,
well, that's basically rich.
So rich. Dude, we were so rich and we didn't spend anything. Like we were good. And then eventually though, after a year of doing it, I was just praying one day and I was like, God, what do you want me to do with my life? Like, I'm not going to flip couches the rest of my life. Like, this is a good life. I'm not complaining about it, but like, what am I going to do? And that was honestly one of the only times in my life I've like clearly heard from God. And the word was real estate. And at that point, to even backtrack a little bit, before couches, I was a realtor. So I got my real estate license in 2010 and I did it for a couple of years, hated it, quit, made like very little money doing it. So then couches became the thing that made money. But when I heard real estate, I was like, God, I hate real estate and I suck at it.
I was just doing the math in my head. Probably not a great time to be a brand new real estate agent.
Yeah. And that was part of it. The timing was terrible. Yeah. I mean, in 2010, the average price of a home was 100 grand. Great as an investor if you would have bought, but as an agent, you make 3%. So $3 grand. And the hard thing was,
that's if you could find somebody to buy one.
Right. There was no sellers because every house was a foreclosure. So they were all bank owned. And then there was no buyers because everyone else had gotten foreclosed on. They had no credit. They had no money. So it was.
And the banks didn't want to loan any money to anybody.
Yep. It was so hard. And I didn't know any better. I'm just like, dude, this is like really hard work to make $3 grand. This sucks. So I quit after a couple of years. I sold some houses and quit. I was like, this is not worth it. So when God gave me that word, like 4 years later, I'm thinking, why? And then I see this TV commercial literally within the hour. It's like, learn how to flip houses with no money, no credit, no anything. I'm like, that sounds like me. Like even though I make good money flipping couches, you got to remember that was only for 6 months out of the year. And the other 6 months I would make no money.
Yeah.
So I was just using that money,
your butt off,
to pay for when I don't make money. So it's not like I still had like any of this money. I'd saved up 10 grand, which I guess for people's a decent bit of money, but I was like, I don't have enough money to flip houses. You need like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so this was intriguing. And I was always a hustler. I knew I could get deals and negotiate. And then, I was like, that's a scam. There's no way to do that. I would have heard about it when I was a realtor. They would have taught me this in realtor school.
Yeah.
And they don't.
Yeah.
And so I ended up Googling and figuring out like this wholesaling thing, this hard money thing, all this stuff. And I'm like, they never taught me any of this. But if this is as good as it sounds, I can do this. And so I told my wife that day, I was like, we're going to start flipping houses. She's like, okay. I was like, here's the thing though. I'm going to need to max out all of our credit cards. So I'm going to apply for lines of credit and I'm just going to get as much as we can. And so I round up $50,000 on credit cards and I used that for a down payment on our first deal.
And she was supportive.
Yeah.
It's rock and roll. It's so good.
Yeah.
So flipping, wholesaling, all of the entry-level real estate investor stuff. And then you got reps and you got good at it.
Yeah. One flip led to another, made 25K, threw it back in the next deal. One deal became two became four. And it just started to compound really quickly. I remember the first year I made 50 grand, only a couple of them closed. And I was like, man, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
If I could just do like 5 of these, that's 6 figures. And so the next year I did 20 and I made 200 grand. Well, I bought 20. I don't remember how many sold, but made 200 grand. Literally, it was more money than I ever made my whole life. And I was like, this is nuts. And then the next year I made 750 grand.
Well, and I want to put a pin in that for a second, pause on that, because that's a lot of my audience right now is very small, but this is the kind of thing that they're interested in. Going from basically poverty level.
Below poverty.
Yeah.
People who are on Social Security made more than us.
Yeah, right. To then make 50 grand.
It was crazy.
To then make $200,000 utilizing things that are available basically to anyone. You don't have to have a degree from a prestigious institution.
Yep.
You don't have to have rich parents.
Nope.
You don't have to have all of the, fill in the blank advantages that so many people assume that you have to be successful.
Yep.
What are some of the milestones, some of the things that you remember on the path of scaling to where you are now? What are the things that stand out in the journey? So you get to 200 grand, you're like, This is a real thing. We're going to build a career out of this. We're going to make a life out of this.
Yeah.
What's happened between then and now?
Some milestones. I mean, obviously the first flip, the first time you make 6 figures, the first time you make 7 figures, doing 8 figures in revenue. So they're all milestones. I like to separate, honestly, right now I'm 36. I look at my life has really been in like chunks of 5 years. So call it from 20 to 25. I was solely focused on baseball. I was, flipping couches, doing things on the side, whatever. From 26 to 30, that was when I was like really taking off flipping houses. And that was all I did. Became a millionaire flipping houses. That was my sole focus.
So rad.
From 31 to 35, it's been all about social media and education. It's when I built my brand and, all the things we do now. And obviously I still do real estate, but like, that wasn't like my focus. My focus has been, all of these other things. And then now as I enter 36 to 40, I can see God shifting this next stage of life. And I do think that a lot of it's going to be ministry related. I think that I'm becoming a more mature entrepreneur. Because this is the thing I tell people, like your life can change quick. Like if I really look at my life as an entrepreneur, I've only been full-time for like 8 years, which in the grand scheme of things is not like a long time. And so I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. I've started a lot of businesses. I've spread myself too thin. I've got myself into trouble doing stupid things I shouldn't have did that I just didn't realize.
Me too.
Yeah. I've made a lot of money. So it's like, there's things you can only learn with experience and having tried things. And so, I don't regret any of the failures or anything because I like where I'm at today. So, I'm a culmination of every success and failure today. So I just kind of look at where am I headed? And I don't know what this next chunk of 5 is, but I can see a shift happening where it's not like social media as much. I mean, obviously I'll still do it. It's not real estate as much. Obviously I'll still do it. It's not coaching as much. Obviously I'll still do it. I think it's going to be different.
So let's talk about that for a second. So you have multiple businesses and are they vertically integrated? They all kind of work together?
Yeah. Yep.
Can you tell me just a little bit about it?
Well, I think, before, man, I had so many things. I mean, I had a tax firm, I had a real estate brokerage with hundreds of agents. I had, education for real estate. I had education for teaching people social media. I had an agency. I had, a fund to buy apartments. I'm flipping houses. I'm wholesaling. I'm doing my podcast. Like there's a lot.
Yeah.
And so now today it's actually just way more simplified. I still flip in wholesale.
You've got a team, I would imagine.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't do it. I have a business that does it.
Totally.
We still have apartments and things, but I'm not like actively looking for deals anymore in that space. I've gotten to experience it the last 3 years, and it's, we're managing the deals we got and everything, but do I want to keep getting more deals and like be in that space? And my gut tells me probably not. Just because it's hard to focus on lots of things. I have my education, but now it's just purely real estate. And instead of it just being education, now it's like a full all-in-one business. So we give people leads, we give them education, we give them softwares, we give them funding. So like now it's just all together. So that's one business now. And then, that complements my own real estate investing business because they feed each other. And then, I have my nonprofit with Wealthy Kingdom. And, we just help Christian entrepreneurs grow closer to Jesus. And that's it. That's all I do now. And I get hit with different opportunities every week. And I'm now finally mature enough to just say no.
I'm at the same place where I have to say no to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can't get much done.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's important for people to understand that you can kind of get a plate spinning. You build a team, some systems, and then you can get another plate spinning. And while that's totally possible, that's not necessarily for everyone the best route to go.
Yeah.
What would you say you're working on next? Do you have a new project on deck that you're open talking about?
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to do that. I just want to keep doing. Well, I don't want to keep doing what works and just like settle. I want to keep improving what already works. Like the one thing I've realized with entrepreneurship is we all want to grow, right? So everybody can agree that most people want to grow in business. That means in most cases, make more money. And so the way that I always grew was horizontally. It's like, hey, you know what? This business is doing that. I'm going to just kind of like let it do its thing. I'll start a new thing. Then I'm going to get it to a certain level, pass it off, do it again. So I had like a lot of businesses doing 2 million, 3 million, and all this stuff. And now I look at it and I'm like, well, why don't we build this one business to 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, like whatever it could be. Like, I don't know, right? Because it's possible to do that. And it's far easier to do that.
Yeah. Well, and you're cooking with Crisco, because if you're in a space where there's real traction and you're good at it and you like it and you've got a good team and you've got systems, yeah, how far can you go with it becomes the question.
Yeah. And the market for real estate is very big. Like there's no end to the amount of business you could do just in the real estate space. And so for me, I think a lot of it was maybe ego and ignorance, in that ego being, hey, I don't want to be just a real estate guy. Like I'm more talented than that. And I think I proved to myself, and I guess it doesn't even matter proving to other people, but just proving to myself, like, no, actually, yeah, I can do other things, but I'm choosing to stay here in this lane. And then the second thing would be like with ignorance, in that you just don't know what you don't know. And so you get shiny object syndrome. So you think that this thing is better and that thing is better. And you finally try all those things for a period, and then you realize, no, they're not. The thing you know best is probably the best thing for you.
Social media stuff. You built a really big brand. So you've done the social media thing. You've done it. How has that impacted your family, if at all? Did you got 3 kids?
Yep. 3 and a 4th on the way.
Congrats. I have 3, not a 4th on the way.
How old are yours?
10, 7, and 3.
Okay. Yeah. Mine are 6, 4, and about to be 2.
Yeah.
And then the newborn. So yeah, honestly, I mean, I get recognized all the time. But it's not like an inconvenience. I love it. I think it's great. And also too, deep down, I always thought I would be famous anyways from baseball and stuff. So it's like, I don't know. It's just different that it's not from that. It's from making YouTube videos. So
hilarious.
And honestly, it's like being a YouTuber gets you more fame than being an athlete these days.
Oh yeah, for sure.
People are just consuming content nonstop, more so than watching games and everything else. So it's interesting. But no, I love it. It doesn't affect our family at all.
how has content creation evolved as a business? Like, how did it start? Like, were you like, hey, I just got to get on this. I got to start promoting what I'm doing. But like, we use like using iPhones with no mics. Like, how did it start?
Yeah. I mean, it was another God thing. So, I think back to the multiple times God has like directed me to a new path. So one was like flipping couches. The other was flipping houses. And then I would say this was the third one years later, where COVID hit, and I had about 50 house flips going on at that time. So I'm sitting on a ton of debt, not sure what's going to happen. I've built up this good sized business, wealth, and other stuff. And they're telling you that the world's going to end, and you're like, okay.
Restaurants are closed.
Yeah. What do we do? And, they're saying you can't even go outside and look at a house. Like, how are they going to sell? I could see them. So, and people are scared the prices are going to drop, the stock market tanked, and all these things. So, long story short, I was praying, and sometimes God speaks like in vision or in, words, and other times he speaks through other people.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, he spoke through other people. Literally within the day, I had 3 different people tell me I should do YouTube. And that wasn't like something that was all like happening. I was like, okay, I guess I should do YouTube. Like, this is clearly not a coincidence. So I'm like, why? So I started asking these people who are telling me, I'm like, give me the top YouTubers. Like, who should I watch? So I started watching these guys. And
who are you watching?
Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, some of these guys back then who were, they're still big today, but they were kind of like the only guys. Like back then, there wasn't really too many entrepreneurs on. It was more so like these guys were YouTube financial content creators. They weren't actually running businesses.
Gotcha.
And I remember that sticking out to me. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm out here running like a real business, and
You've actually built something.
I've got like all the stuff, and like, where are those guys? And there wasn't, Cardone and others were like on it, but like there wasn't anyone like young. And, I remember them doing a video talking about how much they made as YouTubers. And I was like, these guys are making more money than me. This is crazy. They're making more money talking about it than doing it.
Mm-hmm.
This is nuts. I was like, instead of being mad or butthurt about it, I was like, I need to just do it. They're clearly smarter than me.
Which is my camera. Did you all hear that? People on the internet, haters on the internet, don't be mad or butthurt when people do well.
Yeah.
Just go try and do it yourself.
Yeah. So
it might work.
Yeah. I was like, all right, instead of being a hater like most people would, I was like, I'm going to just try it. So all of them actually had courses on how to be YouTubers. I was like, I'll just freaking buy these. So I bought other courses, I bought other people's things. I just consumed it all. And I was like, oh, there's a pretty easy framework to follow with YouTube. There's titles, there's thumbnails, there's hooks, there's all these things and nuances like with any craft that you just got to know. It's not just as simple as I upload a video and I should go viral. That's what most people think. But I'm like, oh, there's actually like a system that could create virality. So I just followed it, and I bought a camera. I bought some stuff, I bought a decent mic, and I just got to work. My wife ended up editing the first few videos because she's creative. And by the time like I made it serious, she's like, all right, I'm not going to be like the editor forever, because you're trying to like now go from like 1 video a week to like 2 to 3, like, you need to go hire someone. But yeah, within that first year, it just really blew up. And I think it was perfect timing because everybody was stuck on their phones. There was very little competition. None of the people you see today were doing it yet. Like the guys I've had on my shows like Hormozy and Cody Sanchez and Dan Martell and all these guys who have been here, they weren't there yet. And so I was one of like, in my opinion, one of these first entrepreneur guys that were like, let's just say a smaller entrepreneur, not like Grant Cardone or one of these guys.
You friends with Grant?
Yeah.
I've never met him, but I know he bounces in and out of Scottsdale a lot. I know that he's, I see buildings with his name on it.
Yep.
That's where I live.
Yep. Him and Dawson. I think Dawson's out of that building more. But, so, I just make this and it pops off. The first 9 months, I got like 75,000 subscribers, and TikTok, I got like 400,000 subscribers or followers. And it was just like insane. And I would have never thought it grew as quickly as it could. And once again, I think it was just perfect timing, because if I would try the same strategy today in this environment, the result wouldn't be as good.
How would you say you personally handle negativity, critics, nonsense haters?
Well, you know what's funny is people, I don't know, people think I care. But everyone
Good
around,
answer.
yeah, around me, I think almost all of our staff knows I literally do not care. And I don't say it to like sound tough. I just don't care. And I don't care what people think who are haters. And I don't also really care if like I say something that someone needs to hear. It's like you were telling me the story about like the atheist praying, right? Like I would literally have no problem being like, well, we're going to pray. Like your life sucks right now.
Yeah.
Like we need to pray. And if you take offense to this, I really don't care. Like you don't have the right to even be offended. Yeah. Like you're here for help. So quit being a baby. Like I just don't care. And maybe I should be more maybe empathetic or compassionate in that way, but like I just really don't care. Like I care about doing the right thing and giving the truth and pushing people to succeed and saying what I believe. And that's all I care about. I would actually care more if I held back and I tried to tiptoe the line or I wasn't transparent about what it is I'm trying to say and do.
Yeah. Well, and I haven't consumed tons of your content, but enough of it. And the things you say, in my opinion, really aren't that controversial. I mean, other than being a follower of Christ,
yeah,
which I don't even know why that's controversial. But other than that, I mean, you're not talking about politics. You're not saying the clickbaity things that a lot of people will say in order to get more views. You're putting out good stuff. You're trying to inspire people.
Yeah, and I mean that's my intent. And you know, look, people are always going to hate no matter what, right? You know, so it's like if you're selling education, why are you selling education? If you're pitching anything, why are you pitching? You know, why? Oh, you're trying to use Jesus' name to make money. Oh, you're going to do this. It's like, I honestly do not care what you think. And then my mindset just defaults to like, if you have enough time to complain and hate on everything else, like your life must suck. And it just, I have empathy. I do have empathy for that. That's why I don't like respond.
Have you ever left a negative comment on a post?
I think I've said some smart aleck things, but not negative. I've never been like, F you, man. Like, you know, you're an idiot.
You're a joke.
No, I've never done that. I have said funny things in response back.
No, I don't know anybody who's winning in life that's taking time to do that.
No.
It's bizarre to me.
Yeah.
I kind of anticipated it because we just started creating content a few months ago. And I was like, I wonder what negativity we're going to get and when. And then as soon as I got a couple, I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
The algorithm's starting to show us to other people, and not just my friends.
If somebody is negative and they're saying these things, they're projecting their own issues and feelings onto you. So whenever I see that, even my friends, like I can see just insecurity. I can see when somebody is really bothered by something because they'll make a post about it and everything else. And I'm just like, I don't think they realize they're projecting their own feelings on other people, but maybe it's just a lack of awareness. I don't know.
Has your success cost you some friends?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely have more friends. So I'm just like, I guess the total's going up. So yeah, I'm sure, you know, some have fallen off along the way. But I mean, honestly, I don't think I've lost too many friends.
You've kind of touched on this, being public about your faith. Has it created challenges or has it created more opportunities?
More opportunities, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, because I think a lot more people now resonate. People like you get to see who's like really about this life. And I'll get messages and people and, you know, we'll start talking about in-depth like things that somebody who's a serious believer would know. And it's like really cool to like talk at that. You know, it's the same way, like if I'm teaching real estate, for example, and I just teach the surface level things of real estate, the big picture, broad things, it's like, it's great. You're going to get the newbies and it's great. And, you know, I'll give, and I hate to call it surface level Christianity, but I would more so call it evangelistic Christianity. So like if I'm trying to operate in an evangelistic spirit, I'm going to be giving the nuts and bolts of the gospel, the essential message, and really try to get people saved who by default, like don't know anything about Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Like there's a purpose for that. And at times I operate in that spirit when the opportunity is correct. But I think what I really like to operate more so is in the spirit of like discipleship. And so, like with our nonprofit, we have these Bible studies all across the country. Last year we had over 3,000 meetings. And that's really important to me because this is one of the only opportunities people truly have to be discipled by other people. Because, if you walk into church on a Sunday, odds are you're probably not going to talk to anyone. You're going to come, hear the message, leave, in and out for most people. In Bible study, there's 8 of you and you have to talk.
Yeah. When you're getting practical experience from other men.
Yeah. We're going through similar things. They're all entrepreneurial. And so I'm just like, I really love discipleship. And that's why, like, when I talk about more in-depth things of faith, like even like what I'm talking about right now, like most people may not even understand the difference between being a disciple and evangelizing and then the office of a pastor or a prophet or an apostle. Like they're all like, this is like in-depth stuff now. And I really enjoy talking about those things the same way I enjoy talking about in-depth business things that somebody new just, it would go over their head.
100%. It's fascinating. I watched an interview, somebody you had on your show. He was a pastor. I don't remember his name, but the whole topic was around Christians and, poverty mindsets.
Yeah.
Fascinating conversation.
Yeah.
I even shared with
it might have been Manny Arango.
Yeah. Arango. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating conversation. I would venture that it's not even just, within the Christian community. A lot of people come from a poverty mindset, maybe through no fault of their own, at least in their roots. A lot of people are brought up that way with a broken mind mentality. But for somebody to grow up and then as an adult view somebody who's successful as somehow being immoral it's really bizarre to me. It's weird. I mean, I grew up in a very, I would say, middle-class household. As an adult and a budding alcoholic, I was in extreme poverty until I was, about 30. So for me, I like 50 Cent. I wanted to get rich or die trying. Like,
yeah.
I thought, and I made the mistake I mistakenly thought people would be happy for me.
Yeah, not in that world.
No. And so there's a lot of people that want to make more money, that want to find a sense of purpose in what they're doing, that want time, freedom.
Yep. Almost
Regardless of the number. I think that $200,000 number is a very achievable number for a lot of people who are currently struggling.
Yep.
When I made 6 figures for the first time, I was rich.
Yeah.
I went from being very poor to being like, I can go on a trip.
Yep. I could eat, Chipotle now.
At 1,000%. Yeah, for lunch. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't have to go to the dollar menu. Like I can.
Yep.
And that message gets lost on so many people. Like, oh, if you get really successful, like you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Somebody should sue you or something. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think Christian or not Christian, right? I think poor people, most of them don't like rich people for whatever reason. It's just like this societal stigma, right?
There's an us and them, even though both you and I have been on both sides.
Yeah. I mean, the harsh truth is, are some of us born with advantages? Absolutely. The fact that I was born with a family that loved me, middle class, great home, born with a lot of natural ability too. I mean, yeah, it would have been a disappointment if I wasn't successful, quite frankly. I would have underachieved. But, why are all these guys, why is LeBron successful, right? Yeah, he had physical talent, but he grew up with a single mom, terrible neighborhood, all these things. He rose up out of it. You see tons of athletes do it. You see tons of entrepreneurs
do it. The Williams sisters.
Yeah. They figure it out. Right. And, there's tons of athletes, by the way, who have natural talent, great families, who don't figure it out, who never make anything. There's tons of rich kids who end up drug addicts, alcoholics, all these things because they had too much. It was actually, they were at a disadvantage because they were coddled and never had to work and never had to go through hard things. And so they were totally unprepared for life. You could make the argument that they're actually in a worse position. So like, what does all that mean? It don't matter. We live in a world today where everyone has a phone, even poor people have phones.
Yep.
Okay. This phone has the ability to give you all the information you want for free to learn to have any skill. You don't need to go to college. There's tons of people online teaching you how to make money in lots of different things. So it's not like, oh, I don't like all good. You don't like real estate? It's all good, man. There's like 8 million other things you can do. Yet people still don't do it. And that's their problem.
As you think about the future and your children, do you have any ideas, any theories on how to prepare them?
Yeah, this is something I thought about a lot. And I've talked to other wealthy parents as well. So one thing we're doing is we're homeschooling.
Same.
So yeah, that's something.
That's a big deal.
Yep. So we're homeschooling. And so I'm excited about that. And I think that that's going to help a lot, obviously, with lifestyle, learning the right things.
Travel. I mean, it checks so many boxes. Are you guys doing it now?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Isn't it amazing how quickly you can get through curriculum?
You don't need 6 hours.
No, my kids school for between 2 and 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And my 4th grader just finished 7th grade.
Yep. And, we live in a world now where they still have social interaction, their social media.
How are you going to socialize them?
Yeah. I mean, that was a real concern 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But today it's not.
No, my kids have busier schedule than I do.
Yep. So I think homeschooling is going to grow. In fact, I actually think at some point I will probably be in that business.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
my wife talks about it.
Yeah. Like as I, do it, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of problems. There's inefficiencies. There's ways this could be done better. And, you just hear about problems as an entrepreneur. You're like, I could solve these. Like it's going to take time and energy and money. But that could be a future thing. But, yeah, we're doing that. As they get older, I'm going to have to figure out the balance. I don't have the answer today of making them do hard things and earn things, but also letting them enjoy a great life. So all of that's going to be figured out. I would say, some will say, well, what about, they're with you for 18 years and then, you're going to let them go off into the wolves and all these things. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I feel like if I did a good enough job for 18 years, they'll be equipped, like I don't think they need to go experience the wolves at 12 years old.
Well, and I don't think the wolves are nearly as scary if by the time they're 16, they already know how to read P&Ls. They understand the difference between assets and liabilities. They understand cash flow.
Yeah, that and even the moral side of things and the faith side of things. It's like, you teach these kids all these crazy ideologies when they're 10 years old. And you're like, oh yeah, you got to expose them to the real world. And I'm like, no, you don't. In fact, that's not even the real world. That's like such a tiny percentage of people who actually believe that and practice that. They're the minority. Like, why would we care to teach my kids that? That makes no sense. So there's things that, I don't know, people are just fooled. Yeah. And a lot of times it's like the haters, right? It's like, I have 99% good comments, but it's the 1% of comments that you really get mad about and try to, for other people, you try to cater to. Why would you cater to 1% of people? That makes no sense in any form of life.
Mm-mm. We go through the same thing. We're trying to figure out different instruments to prepare them.
Yeah. But I think, at the end of the day, even as I'm thinking about that, I guess that the counter argument to what I just said is like, Jesus talks about leaving the 99 to go after the one. And so I think it is important to go after all those lost people. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people with belief systems that are very different than mine. It doesn't mean that I ignore them. It doesn't mean that I have to hate them. It doesn't mean any of those things. It doesn't mean I have to also accept them, right? It means that I need to know how to love them. I need to know how to serve them, but also share the truth with them in a loving way. And if they reject it, it is what it is.
We can't be helpful to everybody, but hopefully God can help us show a kindly and tolerant view, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a great energy, man. You're very dialed in spiritually. It's really refreshing. What would you share with a young guy, early 20s? He's he's discovering disillusionment with what he thought the narrative was supposed to be. He's been to college and now he's working in some field he didn't study for.
Yeah.
It's in a 9 to 5 and he's watching this.
I would say take a ton of risk. What I see as a massive problem right now is most people, especially men, they're so scared.
Mm-hmm.
They live in such fear. And I always tell people who are young, it's like, you have to take risk now. You think if you can't take a risk when you have no obligations in life, that all of a sudden when you're 30, 40, you're going to just start taking massive risk. You think you're going to save your way past inflation and all these things? Yeah, right, dude. But heck, by the time that this is all over, your job's already going to get taken by AI. So like, let's just accept the fact for what this is. And like, let's start making moves now. And even if you fail, you have so much time to recover because you're young.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just tell the young guy, take risk. You know, I'll get guys who are like, dude, I don't know if this thing's for me. Like, you know, starting my $1,000 a month's a lot of money. And I'll be like, no, it's not. What world do you live in where $1,000 a month is a lot of money? It's not. Objectively, in the United States, it is not a lot of money. So if you're scared to do that, you will not do anything big in life, period, ever. So grow up and get over the hump. And like, that is what it is.
That's so good. It's so good. Young men need to hear that.
Yeah.
They really do.
And I'm like, you know what? Look, I don't care if you pay me or pay anyone else, but like, you are not going to save your way out of this.
Is there anything you wish you had heard or, you know, metabolized earlier in your career? Something you could, if you could have a phone call through time back to 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, Ryan.
Every successful person I've ever met is really good at focusing on one thing. And the problem is young guys, they look at older guys and say, well, look how many things they've done.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, yeah, dude, like had a pretty long life of doing stuff, you know, like Ryan, you played baseball, you did real estate and social media, you started these businesses. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, first off, I'm probably an outlier. So don't even try to compare. Like, I can't say like, well, look at LeBron. Well, that's LeBron. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to play in the NBA. I got to use my strengths to the best of my abilities. So like, you know, we compare ourselves to outliers and trying to make it seem like that's the norm. It's like Elon Musk is the only guy ever to like multi-run billion-dollar companies. Like, It's absurd that he's able to do what he's doing. And people will point to, well, Elon has multiple things. You're not Elon. I don't care. Like,
nobody's Elon.
No one in the history of anything.
He's a once in a generation human.
Once in maybe a lifetime, like ever.
Yeah.
No one ever has done it.
No.
So up to this point, he's a once in ever human. And so you're going to compare yourself to that? Like, okay, whatever. The reality is, even Elon, even everyone else, in order to get really good at whatever the one thing you know them for, even if it's one of many, they had to have supreme focus on that one thing for a period of time. So it's like, okay, Elon, let's just take him for example, you know, he's focused on PayPal for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Then he sells it, gets a bunch of money. You know what? He focuses on Tesla for a long time. And then he starts using the wealth from that to do other things. He, you know, gets SpaceX. And then he, you know, he's really just Tesla and SpaceX for a period of time. And then eventually it becomes Neuralink. And then eventually it becomes Twitter. Eventually it becomes Starlink. And, you know, it's like, this is literally 20 years in the making, 30 years in the making for him to see what you see. And even for me, it's like, I played baseball for 27 years. I did real estate for 15 years. I've done social media now for 5 years. And it's like, I've had to focus very heavily on them to not only learn them and master them, but to then put people in place to be able to still operate them while I now focus on the next thing. It's not like I was learning 2 skills at once. I've never learned 2 skills at once.
I think that's a big misunderstanding that a lot of people have. They don't see under the hood. They don't see behind the scenes that you have gone, first of all, through the years of focus, the troubleshooting, the failures to figure out how to get less sucky at something and eventually get good at something.
Yep.
Then put systems and teams in place so that you can then relegate yourself away. That 80-20 principle, people, I mean, myself included, especially when I was younger, struggled with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my agency is 16x'd in the 7 years we've been open. And each step was another painful cutting away of things that I thought I needed to do.
Yep.
Until I was like, do I need to do that? Do I really? There's actually people that are better at this stuff than I am most of the time. People that are smarter than me.
Yep.
Well, I got to tell you, in the short time I've got to sit here and chat with you, man, I've learned a lot. Super smart guy. And when I say smart, I view smart people as people that can observe, can try, can iterate, and just continuously get after it until they find success. And you're one of those people. So you're a smart person to me.
Thank you.
It's been enlightening. Thank you for taking time with me.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on.